If you've ever held a Credit One bank account, this is critical financial news you need to hear that could directly impact your wallet. A significant class action lawsuit targeting Credit One Bank's financial practices has culminated in a substantial settlement, which means millions of Americans could be entitled to compensation, with some potentially receiving up to $1,000. This landmark case sheds light on the critical need for financial transparency and robust consumer protection within the banking industry. This major lawsuit stems from widespread and serious allegations of financial misconduct that cause direct harm to consumers across the United States. Credit One Bank, a prominent credit card issuer and a major player in the American financial sector, faced accusations of inflated fees, misleading credit practices, and inaccurate loan reporting. These were not isolated incidents. Numerous customers reported a sudden and often inexplicable spike in their credit card balances. Customer attempts to resolve these alarming issues were consistently met with automated, non-responsive answers, further escalating their frustration and prompting widespread grievances. This lack of accountability and communication became a significant catalyst for legal action. Over 1,400 formal complaints were officially lodged against the bank in just a 3-year span, with some reports indicating this surge occurred specifically between 2022 and 2025, drawing the immediate attention of legal watchdogs. The investigation into these claims revealed a pattern where the bank allegedly imposed unexplained fees and penalties, often without clear justification. Customers also reported facing unjustifiably high interest rates and encountering significant concerns with their credit reporting, which directly impacted their financial well-being and credit scores. Many consumers, especially those with lower credit scores, found themselves facing penalties and difficult situations, often without a full understanding of the intricate terms they had agreed to when opening their accounts. The lawsuit asserts that personal financial information and consumer finances were allegedly exploited for profit through these questionable practices. This legal action ultimately seeks to hold Credit One Bank responsible for its alleged deceptive actions and ensures that impacted individuals receive fair compensation for the financial harm they suffered. To be deemed eligible for a payment from this particular financial misconduct settlement, you must meet specific criteria designed to ensure compensation goes to those directly affected. You must have held an active Credit One bank account during the period when the alleged fraudulent activities took place. Furthermore, you need to demonstrate that you suffered actual financial harm as a direct result of these practices, such as incurring unjust fees or penalties or being impacted by inaccurate reporting. Crucially, providing valid and comprehensive documentation is essential to substantiate your claim. This includes furnishing financial records that clearly detail any losses or penalties associated with your account, along with proof of identity and personal financial statements. Both individual personal account holders and business account holders who were affected by Credit One Bank's actions may qualify for this compensation, provided they can furnish the necessary evidence. Without sufficient and verifiable proof of your losses, you will unfortunately not qualify for compensation. It is paramount to gather all relevant financial documentation before proceeding with your claim application. The potential compensation for affected individuals in this specific settlement is substantial, with eligible claimants possibly receiving up to $1,000. The final amount you might receive will be contingent upon the validity of the evidence you provide, clearly demonstrating the bank's misconduct and the extent of your financial harm. This payment is part of a much larger settlement fund established to compensate customers for what are deemed unjust practices. While the bank has agreed to settle these claims, the final settlement payment dates are still being meticulously finalized by the court. As the complex legal case progresses, the specific dates for these significant disbursements will be officially announced. Thousands of consumers are currently awaiting their compensation, highlighting the widespread impact of these alleged fraudulent activities. The court will ultimately set the precise dates for the settlement disbursement, and claimants are required to submit all necessary valid financial documentation prior to that date to ensure their eligibility. In a separate yet equally significant legal matter, Credit One Bank also faced a distinct class action lawsuit pertaining to unauthorized robocalls. This lawsuit alleged a clear violation of the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, TCPA. The TCPA is a critical federal law that explicitly prohibits companies from utilizing automatic dialing systems or pre-recorded messages to contact consumer cell phones without obtaining their prior express consent. The allegation specifically that Credit One Bank and its affiliated debt collectors made millions of such unauthorized robocalls to customers' mobile phones between the years of 2014 and 2019. These calls were not only frequent, but according to the lawsuit, allegedly continued even after consumers had expressly requested them to stop, constituting committing another direct violation of federal laws designed to protect consumer privacy. Rather than admitting guilt for these alleged infractions, Credit One Bank chose to enter into a settlement to resolve this particular legal dispute, setting aside millions of dollars to compensate affected individuals. If you believe you were affected by these specific robocalling tactics, your eligibility for compensation from this separate fund hinges on a few precise conditions. You must have received a robocall or a pre-recorded message on your mobile phone that was made by or on behalf of Credit One Bank or its debt collectors at any point between 2014 and 2019. Crucially, you must also not have given your prior express consent to receive such calls. While class member notifications would have been sent to potentially eligible individuals, you can still verify your eligibility directly by visiting the official settlement website or contacting the settlement administrator if you didn't receive a notice. The total value allocated for this specific robocalling settlement fund is approximately $14 million. Individual payments are anticipated to vary based on the total number of valid claims that are ultimately filed, but early estimates projected payments to be around $100 per claimant. For those eligible under this robocall settlement, the good news is that payments are reportedly being dispersed this week, specifically as of June 16, 2025. To secure your share from either of these settlements, the process generally requires proactive engagement. You will typically need to visit the official settlement website dedicated to the specific class action. If you received a formal notice, you might be provided with a unique claim ID and PIN, which you can use to streamline your application. Alternatively, if you didn't receive a notice or if you misplaced it, most settlement websites offer an online lookup tool to verify your identity and confirm your eligibility. It is absolutely critical to submit your claim by the stated deadline. These deadlines are non-negotiable and are usually within a period of 60 to 90 days after notices are initially issued. Missing this claim deadline means you will unfortunately forfeit your legal right to receive any payment from the settlement. When filing your claim, you will also be given the opportunity to choose your preferred method for receiving your funds, whether that's via a traditional check, direct deposit into your bank account, or through a digital payment platform like PayPal. Participation in these class actions is not automatic. Consumers must register individually and meticulously submit all required documentation within the designated timeframe. This comprehensive documentation typically includes your personal identification and proof of address, detailed financial records related to your Credit One bank account, and compelling evidence of any losses or penalties you incurred. This can include account statements that clearly display expenses and transactions, as well as evidence of the bank's monetary influence, such as fees or fines. Without the proper and timely submission of these forms and supporting documents, you will not be deemed eligible to receive settlement payments. Furthermore, if you disagree with the terms of the settlement, you also have the distinct legal option to opt out or object to the settlement within a specific court-mandated timeframe. All critical deadlines and procedures are always clearly outlined on the official settlement website and in any official notice you may have received. These class actions against Credit One Bank serve as powerful and timely reminders of the fundamental importance of consumer rights and the significant impact that collective legal action can have. They underscore the critical need for absolute financial transparency and unwavering accountability across the entire banking industry. The culmination of these lawsuits represents a significant step towards enhanced consumer protection and is widely expected to prompt broader reforms within the financial sector, ultimately leading to improved safeguards for all customers in the future. Financial institutions are continuously reminded of their responsibility to operate with the utmost transparency and ethical conduct in all their dealings, ensuring that consumer rights are always upheld and protected. Thank you for watching and for prioritizing your financial awareness. Stay informed, remain vigilant, and continue to protect your financial well-being.